Hello viewers, in this video I'm going to discuss about the scope and the functions of the marketing department or the marketing. Now the scope can be understood by way of as I have depicted in the table given on the board, that the as to what does the marketing manager does, the functions the marketing manager performs, that that will give us an idea about the scope of the marketing or the marketing activities, the various activities being done by the marketing manager. Therefore, because what is the task of a marketing manager? To sell the goods so as to earn the revenue for the organization. Now in doing so, he has to perform certain functions which will depict or which will give us an idea as to what is the scope of the marketing department. So let us first discuss, as to I have mentioned about as to the function of research. That is, during the research aspect, what is the research aspect associated? That is the marketing research and product planning and development. Second function is of exchange, where the marketing department does this work, buying and assembling. Buying of what? Buying of the raw material and the inputs, and assembling it in the production department and then selling. Another function the marketing manager performs is in terms of the function of physical treatment, wherein the important aspects to be discussed here are packaging, storage, transportation, standardization, grading, and branding. And then the fourth function is the facilitating. Facilitating means all those activities which helps in the movement of the goods or in selling of the products, and that includes the financing, advertising, insurance, salesmanship, and pricing. So let's come on to the first function, that is function of research. So now let us understand the scope of marketing in terms of the functions that a marketing manager or the marketing department performs. That means that the various activities being performed by the marketing department and therefore by the marketing manager, as to the various activities have been categorized into four different functions. So I will discuss the scope on the basis of the functions being performed by the marketing department or by the marketing manager. As we all know, the major purpose of this department is to generate revenue for the businesses by selling want-satisfying goods and services to the customers at a profit. Now, in order to achieve the purpose, the marketing manager performs the various functions or the various activities. So as I mentioned, the various activities have been grouped under the four major functions. Namely the function of research, the function of exchange, the function of physical treatment, and the function of facilitating exchange. Now when I talk about facilitating, that means all those activities which helps in the movement or in selling the goods or the services to the prospective customers. So the very first function and the very important function is the marketing research. Now, it means the intelligence service of the organization, meaning thereby that the marketing research helps in analyzing the buyer's habits, effectiveness of the advertisement media, relative popularity of the product, the acceptance level of the product by the customers. So, if I go by the definition given by Stanton, marketing research is the systematic search for analysis of facts related to marketing problems, and therefore there is a problem, customer's problem, and that becomes the problem to be solved by the marketing department by solving the problem by giving the or the manufacturing the product which can solve the problems of the customers. I have dealt with this earlier in my lectures. So it may cover all the areas of business which have bearing on the marketing function. So anything which is related to the development of the organization, when we talk about the improvement in the market share or the improvement in the sales or the profit margin, everything comes under this particular aspect and the particular important function, that is marketing research. Another important function of research is product planning and development. A product is something which is offered by business firms to customers to satisfy their needs. It has great importance in all other areas of marketing management. It is therefore necessary to plan and develop products which meet the specifications of the customers. Now, when we talk about product is again a combination of three layers. First is the core benefits derived from the product, the actual product as to what does the product look like, and the augmented product which helps in the movement of the product or which has been added advantages of the product. So when we talk about product, there are three aspects related to it. I'll be dealing with this in the topic when I will cover the product. That is the first P of marketing mix. The second function of exchange. So exchange is, again a very big aspect of and an important aspect of the department of marketing. So the very first factor to be considered it is buying and assembling. Let us understand this way that the procurement of raw materials, maybe semi-finished and finished products, has gained great importance for the modern industrial and commercial firms. That is the coordination between purchasing officials and the marketing officials will help in purchasing the right type of materials or goods at the right time and at the right quantities. Purchasing is somewhat different from assembling. That meaning thereby that the purchasing involves determination of requirements, finding sources of supply, placing the order, and receiving the goods. Whereas assembling means collection of goods already purchased from different sources at a common point. That is, raw materials are purchased and assembled in order to produce goods. So this is again an important aspect of the marketing department. The second factor, which is very important to discuss here in the function of exchange, is selling. Now, as I said, this is an important aspect of marketing under which ownership of goods is transferred from seller to buyer. Now, sale may take place in the form of, say, negotiated sale or an auction sale. Now, when I say negotiated sales, it may take the following forms, like namely sale by inspection, sale by sample, sale by description, sale by grade, sale by brand, so on and so forth. Selling again, we will discuss in detail. The third function is of physical treatment. Physical treatment involves, the standardization, grading, and the branding of the product, the transportation aspect, the packaging aspect, and the storage aspect. So, when we talk about the storage now, so the goods are generally produced in anticipation of the demand that we all know. They have to be stored properly in warehouses to protect them from any damage which may be caused by ants, rats, sun, moisture, theft, etc. And therefore the producers, the manufacturers, traders, importers, exporters, etc., all they are engaged in business have to store their goods in warehouses before they actually being sold. So the goods are produced and procured well in advance to the demand. They are stored in warehouses till they are actually sold in the market. Thus, the warehouses provide time utility to the product, time utilities as and when the product is required, or as and when the demand increases, the supplier can be therefore made. The second important factor in the physical treatment is the packaging. Now, when we talk about packaging is traditionally done to protect the goods from damage in transit and to facilitate easy transfer of goods to customer, that is from the point of manufacturing to the point of consumption. And therefore the packaging has become one of the essential services of modern marketing. It acts as a multi-purpose arrangement, such as we can have number of things associated with it. For example, it gives protection to the products on its route from manufacturer to the retailer, on to the customers. Therefore, it even protects the goods and or these products during its life with the consumer. Packaging helps if the product is of such nature where it can be stored for say a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and therefore the material or the product or the it can be protected by a good packaging pattern. Uh, Another important is the packaged goods are generally more convenient to handle. It becomes easy to handle the packaged products. It gives individuality to the product. A kind of a brand name or a kind of by the very looks of the package, one can identify. Even the uneducated person identifies the product with the help of the packaging, or with the types of the packaging, or with the color combination of the packages whatsoever. It makes also easier for the consumer to identify the product looking at the package. This is what I meant to it is becomes very easy for even for the educated or for the uneducated people. They identify the product more closely, and it acts as a silent salesman. That means it gives every information as to which the salesman gives, because if it is everything is printed on the package, on the packaging material, the company's name, the place of the company, the price, the how to use the product, the features of the product, the various benefits to be derived from the product, so and so forth. Everything is printed. So when you read and go through the what the written material on the package, it acts as per the information been given by the salesman. So packaging is also known as the silent salesman. The important and the third function of physical treatment is transportation. We all know that the modern organization produce on a large scale to cater the requirements of the customers scattered throughout the country, the length and breadth of the country. Transportation therefore provides the physical means which facilitates the movement of the persons, the movement of the goods and the services from one place to another. And it also plays an important role in the economic, social, political development in the country, because when the product is being there is a movement of the product, so many people, so many other activities associated with this also get then indirect employment therefore. And also transportation creates the time utility in goods, because the speedy transport minimizes the time taken in transit. For example, if the material has to be transported from Delhi to Mumbai, and therefore road transport it makes it very convenient to reach the product in the minimum possible time, as and when the product is required. So, and then another, when we talk about transportation, it removes the distance problem. This is what I intend to say is, and it creates the place utility, therefore, as it facilitates movements of from the goods from the manufacturer to the consumer. So two types of utilities are being taken care of when we talk about transportation. One is the time utility, and the other is the place utility. So another important aspect is the standardization, grading, and the branding of the product. Now, when we talk about these aspects of physical treatment, so standardization is can be let us understand what do we mean by this standardization. So standardization means generally setting up of specifications of the product. When you specify the product, its features, its size, its shape, its color, its weight, so on and so forth. And therefore, when we talk about grades of agricultural products are based on these specifications and standards. Goods are given brand name by their manufacturers to convey to the customers that their goods conform the certain and well-defined standards. These activities promotes the sales of goods. Therefore, and it becomes a very important aspect of it, the standardization of the product, the grading and the branding. Branding is maybe it's the name of the product, the logo on the product, or the certain kind of trademark on the product, so that the products can be identified. Now the fourth function, or the facilitating exchange, are the various, mentioned as on the whiteboard. You see it. It's pricing, financing, advertising, salesmanship, and insurance. So these play a very very important role in helping the sales of the products, or helping the marketing manager. Again, I said it is the marketing department who decides upon these certain parameters, and this is again because it is very important for the marketing manager to look out for the various aspects so that it helps. Now first is as we said, it is pricing. Now when we talk about pricing is the determination, that is, of price of a product, is an important function for a marketing manager. Price of the product is influenced by the cost of the product, the services being offered by the organization, the profit margin desired by the marketing manager, the government policies, and therefore the price is fixed by the competitive and the rival firms. So there are so many factors a marketing manager has to take into consideration while coming on to the pricing aspect. The pricing policy of the firm should be such that it attracts all types of customers, and therefore it is, and I earlier also mentioned, and today I again want to reiterate, is that we Indians are the very price conscious society, and therefore pricing plays a the pricing becomes the deciding factor whether to go for the product or whether not to go or buy the product. Another second term is the financing. Now, when we talk about financing and marketing functions of a business are interlinked with each other. Financing of customer purchasing has therefore become an integral part of modern marketing. A manufacturer provides or able to provide credit facilities to wholesalers and retailers in order to smoothen the marketing system or the marketing machinery, therefore. And when the product is largely in demand, for example, and the supply is less, what the customers do, they give advance to the retailers give advance to the wholesaler gives advance to the manufacturer, and then the manufacturer gets the money to buy the raw material and to smoothen up the the manufacturing activities and the supply activities, therefore. So another important aspect is advertising. Advertising has become an important function of marketing in the competitive world, and as of today advertising plays a very very vital role. It is a very big industry as of today, now in India also, and it helps in the organization's message about the product and the company, and thus promotes its sales. It tells us about advertising. It just informs about. It is more of an circulation of an information about the company, about the product, about its features, about its availability, about its benefits, and so on and so forth. Advertising plays a very important role to cater this aspect of the marketing manager. It also facilitates creation of non-personal link between advertiser and company, or the receiver or consumer of the message. Now when we say non-personal, for example, the next point is salesmanship. Salesmanship is where there are face-to-face interaction between the salesman and the prospective customer or the customer. Advertising is non-personal. You take any media, it is one-way communication is there, and therefore, but its reach is very high. Now when we talk about the advertising, its reach, for example, radio, it reaches even in the remotest area of the country or of the place. So therefore, another important aspect is the salesmanship. Salesmanship is the personal selling, is an important method of selling goods. There are certain categories of product which requires, where advertisements does not play an important role, but where the salesmanship comes into the picture, or the personal selling comes into the picture. This is largely I'm focusing on when we talk about industrial products, or the product is of such which is, which becomes an industry input for another industry, or for the inputs. Then it becomes very important, the personal selling aspects. we talk about insurance, for example. The next point is insurance again, where the salesmanship plays a larger role, and therefore it is widely used in retail marketing, because these salesmanship or personal selling involves direct and personal contact by the buyer and the customer. Selling has become a science of human relations and an art of getting along with people effectively, so that the sales resistance may be reduced to the minimum. And the important next important aspect in this, it is insurance. Insurance also plays a very vital role in in facilitating the exchange purpose, or facilitating the movement of the goods from the manufacturer to the consumer. Therefore, because the large number of risks are involved in exchange of goods. Thus, insurance helps the business to cover the risk involved. This risk may be transported during the transportation. This risk may be due to any fire, due to theft, or due to any weather conditions and such as such. There's so many factors which are associated, and therefore, because it involves the products, whether it is raw material or whether it is finished goods, it involves large amount of money, and therefore the insurance gives a certain amount to store a large number, or to procure the large number of raw materials, and therefore it facilitates the smooth exchange of goods by covering risk involved in storage and in the transportation. So that's all for in this subject. In this particular topic. In case of any problems, I would like to reassure my viewers that you may go to the description box where the information has been given. You may also give me, can give me a message, so that I may solve the problem.